Just take a listen to this. Commissioner Piepkorn had something to say last night.
That property, that's prime real estate. And so I do think we have to be very careful that we're wise stewards of the... Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Where's the police that we can remove them?
Sell land that belongs to regular, everyday people. And not one of us gets to have a say in this. You guys are selling our land.
Can you please excuse yourselves? Can you please leave? Can you please leave?
Wes.
Can you please?
Commissioner, I'm not going to lie to you. I like that about you. I like somebody that just says what he thinks and does what he thinks. And that must have got a little interesting last night at the Fargo City Commission.
Well, it was a commission meeting, and we were having our commission meeting, and then you can't get up and interrupt the meeting. And
well, he didn't follow. I mean, the point is, I wouldn't like this if it was a normal, hey, it was his chance to speak, but that wasn't what he was doing.
No, it was me talking, right? And we have time for open. You can talk for 2.5 minutes. That's when the public's turn, and this was not. And so it was.
Who was it? It was Wes filming?
It was. It's
okay. I'll just leave it there.
Anyway.
Yep. So then it begs this question: with all of that kind of stuff, why do you want the job again? Because you're running for the Fargo City Commission again.
That is a very good question, Joel. And but honestly, I love it, man. I love the job. I love the town. This is my hometown. I was born and raised here, and we got lots of great stuff going on. And believe it or not, I love last night. That doesn't.
I believe it.
That doesn't. That's,
You're built for last night.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
But I will say we got lots of good stuff going on.
There was a lot of talk about you running for mayor. Obviously, you thought about it. You said that to me, and you said that publicly before. What made you decide to not run for mayor and to seek your seat again on the city commission?
And I would say I went back and forth way more this time than any other time because I know the commitment that it is. And the one thing I will say, the mayor's job is even more commitment. You have to do a lot more public appearances, and when people want to speak to the city, they want to talk to the mayor. And I will say, I would have to behave a little bit differently if I was the mayor than if I'm a city commissioner. So that was part of it too. And the other thing I will say is if you look at Mayor Mahoney, and I'm the deputy mayor, if you look at what's gone on since we've been together and I've been the deputy mayor, we've got a pretty good track record. And if you don't mind, I'll tell a quick story. The Bison have won 17 national championships in football, and they have a pretty good recipe. They get good players, good coaches. They run the ball, play good defense. They hopefully win their conference. They play home games in the playoffs and then go to Texas. Well, look, we have a pretty good recipe in Fargo. If you look at the downtown, if you look at University Drive, all the growth, all the success we have, the Bison aren't going to change their recipe because it's successful, and I don't believe Fargo should either.
Okay. So if you take a look at the relationship that you and Mayor Mahoney have, is that something then that you didn't want to run against him, that you would like? In other words, are you endorsing Tim Mahoney to be mayor?
I'm not going to endorse anybody because I have to work with whoever the citizens vote for. So I'll happily. But I will say Mayor Mahoney and I, we disagree on lots of things. But if you look like on the economic development things, we vote together. Like last night, we voted on all those because we know how important that is. So we have differences, and I have differences with all the commissioners as well. But that was part of it, and I think if he wouldn't have run, I would have run for sure. Put it that way.
Okay. Tony Gehrig, not exactly somebody I'm assuming you're going camping with. He's not getting on the commission again. He's chose not to run for re-election. Did that make it easier to decide to stay on the commission?
That actually made it a little tougher because I'll tell you a quick story if you don't mind. So I was at the gym working out, and a guy came up to me. He was a big guy, maybe a biker, maybe a military, and he goes, "Come on, man, you got to run." And so then I was crying to him, saying, "Man, it's hard, and I'm outnumbered, and it feels like I'm pushing a rock up." He goes, "Yeah, you got to run. It's tough. You got to be there. You got to run." And so that was very. It's true, and I will say I'll be in the minority more than likely. Me against 4 other votes, however this goes, but that's all right. Sometimes you got to do the job.
That's on any given vote, though. On any given, the one thing last night in listening to the meeting last night that you brought a lot of passion to an argument was about the Fargo Airport Authority and what's going on. What upset you in terms of what is happening out at Hector that brought that kind of passion out?
Well, and this has been going on for many years, but we had an audit done that I've been asking for 8 years. And what it found was the leases, the prices were set in the 50 years ago. And so the lease prices for the hangars and all that are unbelievably below market.
Explain to people what that is.
So to give you an example, if you have a hangar out at the airport, you have to pay for the privilege of having that hangar there, and so you're charged by the square foot. Well, the prices are from 50 years ago, and for you or I, our rents aren't being paid like that. And so what's happening is that property is the taxpayer's property, and so we are not being compensated as we should.
So if Joel has a Cessna, he keeps it out at the Fargo airport in a hangar, I'm not paying anywhere near the rent I should be paying.
That's it.
Okay. That's what I was trying to figure out, what the passion was there. Who's holding it back? Is it the airport authority that should be looking at it, or who's determining that?
Well, the airport authority is, and that's we appointed another new member, and so each year that's the city commission's control, and so what's happening is I was on there as a liaison for a while. We don't have any idea. We aren't told these numbers, and that's why I requested this audit done by Ide Bailey, and that's what they found. They found a lot of other bad things, but that will, as time goes by, we'll find out more. I
was predicting that he's going to throw his name in the hat, but then again, I predicted that that Aaron Rodgers would leave the Packers. So how am I doing this year? Am I doing okay, Dave?
I predicted Gonzaga was going to win the national championship.
How'd that go? Didn't go so well either. Somebody wants to know if we'd repeat what you said about the airport. No is the answer. But if you go to podcast, this will be podcast anywhere there's podcasts, and you can listen to what Dave said. What do you do with the job? Because there's no sense in being, to me, a maintenance guy. The janitors are needed, but that isn't going to make a city grow. What are you going to do with the job if you get it again?
We got lots of great stuff going on. First of all, the diversion is going to be 6 years, and so the dirt starts turning this spring, and so that's the first one.
Believe me, it already started turning. I drive through it every day.
And the second huge thing is the Red River Water Supply Project, and that's basically a pipeline from the Missouri River to the Cheyenne River, and that connects that will carry water. And basically that will ensure water. We'll never have to worry about droughts for the city of Fargo, but it also benefits all the small rural water systems in eastern North Dakota. And so that project is about 6 years as well, too. So those are the two main things. But then the other thing, my passion is economic development and helping the downtown. And we still got lots to work. We have 3 good projects. One of them is actually on one of my properties, and so I'm not going to be able to vote on it, but we have lots of things to do in the downtown, and obviously we can't keep spreading. We have to be more dense in the downtown, and also in the city of Fargo, we have to be more dense. We can't keep just using raw land.
If you listen to this radio station and it's a break, which I hope you do, you listen to the commercials as well, the people that are out there trying to tell their story, what you're going to hear is a lot of people advertising for workers. And if you go anywhere, you do too, because I know this, people are saying, I can't find the workers. You've been a small businessman. You've bought and sold businesses. How do you fix that?
Well, the city of Fargo, we're having the same issue hiring people, and we're having to raise wages. The one thing, Joel, this might not sound like a Republican or a fiscal conservative. We need to quit being a low wage area, and we have been. And to me, having people make more money is a good thing. And so I will. This is my theory. Amazon coming here has raised expectations, and that's a good thing. And so it's going to take a while for us to digest all this, but I think it's a good thing. I want everybody in Fargo to make more money so they can do what they want to do.
Should we be openly recruiting people of different regions, of different color, of different backgrounds, ethnicity? Should we be looking at let's look at the number of Hispanics that are trying to enter the country. Let's look at the Ukrainians that want to get put here now. I mean, should we be using opportunities like that to say, look, we need you here in the upper Midwest?
Absolutely. But I will say, our best potential source of, I think we should be recruiting more businesses, and that's Minneapolis. I think there's a lot of people that are looking for someplace, and I think that would be our primary thing. Our commute times in Fargo are 5 minutes versus a half hour. And
there are people who are sick of living in Minneapolis. They are sick of it. They didn't like what happened with the riots. They didn't like what happened with the whole defund the police issue. They didn't like what happened with the police, with the Floyd incident, your murder, basically. So, yeah, there's so much tension there. They just want to get out.
And so that's the way I look at it. That's a recruiting opportunity, not just for Fargo, but the whole everybody in our area.
Okay, so the relationship that the city of Fargo has with other entities that you can't control. Okay, for example, the Fargo School Board, the Fargo Park District, those aren't under your purview, right? So how do you make all of that work?
But I would say, I mean, our staffs all work together. So to give an example, the city of Fargo and the Park District, we work on many, many projects our staffs do already. But as far as the policy groups, you kind of have to. But that's part of our responsibility because we're all working for taxpayers. So anyway, I don't know if that answers your question.
It doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, I'm not sure that history, if it's getting better, then you're right. Because I don't think that history has proven it to be that way. I think that the Fargo School Board does what they want to do, and you guys are left scratching your head saying we didn't know about that. And so I don't know if the conversation's gotten better, Commissioner.
Well, I think we can always get better. But I would say there's lots of examples where the Park District and the schools, they work together with their properties to have a pool but I do think
the truth is you're second to none. I mean, a lot of much larger metro areas would love to have your park system, your school system. So I'm not being critical as much as when I'm talking as a property tax owner, what would you do to make sure your property taxes stay the same or go down? Because those entities need to work together to have that happen.
I totally agree, and I do think we have to do all we can to work together because that's we all have the same boss.
Okay, let's talk about approval voting. It's here, whether you like it or not. It's here. How is this going to affect your race? And just for people who are saying, okay, Heitkamp, what's approval voting? You get 10 names on the ballot. You can vote for all 10 of them, and whoever gets the most votes out of that 10 wins the race, and whoever gets the second most is going to win the race because it's my understanding. 2 are up this time, right?
For the commission.
Okay,
correct.
so two people are going to win on that commission seat. I'm not saying whether it's a good thing or bad thing because it's done. What I'm saying is, how does this affect your race?
So if I'm speaking to people that really want to support me and vote for me, then the most effective way is to just vote for me once, and that's it.
That's the truth. If I were campaigning as a candidate for Fargo City Commissioner and people said, well, I really want you to win, then I'd say, just vote for me, period.
But it's a little, anyway, that's like you said, it was passed. It's the most confusing thing.
Is it going to hurt you though?
No, man, nothing hurts me.
Okay, sit down. It's interesting to start our conversation that way. And I tell you what, Eddie, maybe it's because both of us are a little rough around the edges, but
yes, we are.
The signal that you sent Tony Gehrig made news here. I will tell you that. Well, I'm going to miss that with him gone. The debate you two have.
Well, and it's kind of funny because we're supposed to be this similar political thing, but like you said, we're not going to be camping together. But I would say Tony serves our country and he served our city, so thank you for your service.
I think good debate makes for good government.
And I've learned a lesson. I mean, you learn how to work with other people, and I've learned.
Commissioner, good to speak to you.
Anytime, Joel. Thanks for having me on, man.
You bet.